hey, do a little get ready with me while I do my makeup. I'm not a makeup girly, but I have a dinner with my friends as a little monthly meetup that I do and catch up and socialize. So I'm just gonna do a little chit chat, get ready with me, get to know me. How's that? So I originally started the Carlin brand in 2017. I had started getting all my materials together and I wanted to do a course and I wanted to do all these things, but the technology and just kind of where I was in life didn't line up for me to fully launch and do what I've been wanting to do, but I'm here now. I just feel that now looking back on it, I just hadn't gone through some things that I needed to yet. I had a little more living to do. Just a little bit more living to do. That's all. And so since 2017, I was able to reach the goal of becoming debt-free in 2018. Had my wonderful daughter in 2019. And then boom, got laid off in 2020. Now the crazy part about that was I felt like I was, the sky is falling chicken little, the sky is falling chicken little. I felt like that girl because I knew something was on the horizon. I just didn't know what. So when we built our home in 2011, we had just come from out of the housing burst and basically a financial collapse, right? And so things are cyclical. I'm a finance girly, and all I could think was something is going to come back around financially and have to be ready for it, right? I didn't know what, I didn't know when. I just knew I did not want to be in a position that it would send my family and I in a tailspin, basically. I can get overwhelmed with things, not easily, but kind of. And I just didn't want to be caught out there, whatever that meant, and whatever time frame that meant, right? I didn't know. But boom, COVID hit, and all of this preparation to be debt-free and to just be really smart with our money panned out. And so I guess the blessing in all of it was I had been back to work. I think Skylar was about 9 months old when all of this started. And I really wanted to be home with her. But when you're making multiple six figures a year, are you going to quit a job? I mean, are you? The reality for me was, I don't think I had enough strength to do it on my own. So boom, God had to do a couple of things first. So, I was a corporate finance executive for 4 years. I have a double bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. And then I got my master's degree in organizational leadership. And I went back to school one more time to get my MBA in finance. So I'm a finance girly. I spent, I think, my first 2 years as a tax accountant, and I learned pretty quickly, accounting is really not my jam, right? It just wasn't my jam. So I was like, all right. the good thing is, even if you have an accounting degree, you can always move into finance. And I really didn't know what finance was. I didn't know anybody in finance. I didn't know what they actually did. You know, when you hear finance, a financial analyst, you think of Wall Street, right? You think of stockbrokers or someone evaluating at that level, which, to be quite honest, sounds very stressful. It turned out, you know, any career in finance is stressful because it's so fast-paced but also very precise. So there's not a lot of room for error. But anyway, my CEO at the time said, "Hey, Carlin, I see something so great in you. Let me tell you what I did for my career." Took me to lunch and explained to me how he's a finance guy, right? Grew up in finance, then went to product management so he can learn that side of the business and understand it even more, and eventually became CEO. And I said, "Okay, great. Amazing story. What does that have to do with me, sir?" And he said, "Oh, well, I feel like you know finance so well. I've been hearing all over the organization how helpful you are, how knowledgeable you are, and I feel like you should transition." I said, "Transition to what?" And he said, "Product management." I said, "But what would I do? Because I don't really know anything about product management." He said, "Oh, no. You do. You already work with the product managers on the cost and that sort of thing. You already know the operations analytics because that's your function within finance. Why don't you go over there?" I said, "Okay." And they were doing a bit of a reorg. So the guy that they put over product management, he was over product management sales, and you know, his scope just got a little bit bigger. And he liked me a lot. He said, "Carlin, I would love to have you on my team." I said, "Okay." So these conversations started in the fall, maybe. And by the time the new year hit, the new year being 2020, I had moved into product management. Because I know people were kind of thinking, how does a finance person get laid off? A finance person didn't get laid off. A product management person did. But it was all a setup because I really just wanted to be home with my daughter and be there for all of the cool moments, you know. I was already, I always jokingly say I was 37 3/4 when I had her, because I was. And so I really wanted to enjoy just being a mother and all that came with it and enjoy my time with her. And although I liked my nanny very, very much, I thought she was a very sweet lady. She fit very well with Skylar. She was just very kind. Her son wasn't too much older than Skylar, so she was very good with teaching her things and that sort of thing. So I felt very comfortable with her, but I wanted to be there. I knew I didn't want to have another child because I was mature when I had her. And to be quite honest, after having a C-section, I was good. I was good on that. The only other surgery I'd had in my life was getting my wisdom teeth extracted. And so that surgery was major, and I just didn't want to do it again. I was terribly, terribly sick my entire pregnancy. I literally couldn't even smell certain things without vomiting. It was just wild. And I loved every second of it, but I just didn't want to experience again. I just didn't. And so I felt like I was missing out on just being with my daughter and, you know, really just enjoying that time with her. And so when they called me, not only was I prepared because we had financially planned, but I was excited. This was it. We're holding my way out. This was me getting to be with my daughter, who at that time was closer to turning 1. And I was very excited I was gonna get to be home with her. And so I've been home with her since 2020, and she's turning 5 soon. And I've taught her how to read, how to write, just everything that I actually wanted to do, I've done. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And if I wasn't set up very, very strategically, it just might not have happened that way for me. But I'm grateful for it. And I was prepared for it. We had definitely planned it, and I'm grateful for it. That's all I can really say. So that's how I came to be. And that's what kind of happened with the Carlin brand, is that life just had to happen. Oh, and you know what, before Skylar? You know what I did that I think helped me a lot during me trying to transition into just the thought of becoming a mother? Therapy. I was on that couch before I even conceived her, just because I know that I can get overwhelmed easily, right? And so in order to prepare my mind and then prepare my body, I went to therapy and talked about things that I've never talked about. And it was just very insightful and useful, and helped me process what I was going through at the time, and really prepared me for what was to come. And so I was just grateful that I was in position to embrace this new life and journey, to be at home and explore different parts of me and explore different gifts and talents too, right? Because I was very good at corporate finance, and I had proven that. I had a wonderful career, but I didn't realize that I was going to pivot. But when I did, I was ready. And so when I started the Carlin brand in 2017, I just didn't have that life experience. I don't think I had everything I needed to go ahead and do what I wanted to do with the Carlin brand. But now that I've gone through all of this, I was going through it, and in the process of getting the house paid off, and in the process of, doing certain things, I've done it. And now I can share that experience, not just the money part, right? I named it the Carlin brand just because it's more about me as a person and not just money, right? So I named it the Carlin brand because I just felt like I was more than just the finance girly. I am more than just a finance girly. I have other gifts, I have other talents. My nieces, nephews, family look up to me. And so, you know, talking about life in general, I think is helpful to people. And back in 2017, I never even considered YouTube an option. I was just like, I'm not a YouTube girly. I'm still not a YouTube girly, but I think it's an amazing way to spread information. And so that's what I'm going to use it for. If nothing else, it could almost be a video journal for my daughter on what to do, or really just my story and the steps I took to get where I am, right? So if nothing else, it can be that for her, which I'm fine with. And in the meantime and in between time, I get to share with anyone else that wants to hear about how I became debt-free by 37 and ultimately financially free, and have not had to go back to work. I work for myself. That was another thing. Back then, I didn't know how I was gonna make any of this happen, right? I just really didn't. Again, I hadn't lived enough to know or to see what the possibilities are and were. So I just had to live a little more, get a little bit more experience, just life experience, and realize that I have other gifts and talents that I want to pursue. And also share. Like I said, I'm not a makeup girly. I just try to even out my complexion, get a little color in my cheeks. I've always wanted to be a darker complexion because I just think, you know, I got more of a peanut butter complexion. I always wanted to be more like Nutella, you know? How silly. But no, seriously. Always. I love when I get all bronzed up in the summer. Little bronze I get. Because I just think it's beautiful. My edges get blonde. It's so funny because my daughter's edges do that too. Her whole hairline, very, very fine hair, will be blonde. It is so cute and so adorable. And it really cracks me up that her hair does that too. But I hope you enjoyed this little chat. This is all I really do for makeup because, again, I have no idea what I'm really doing. I just like to even out my complexion, put a little color back into my face, and that's really it. So hope this helped you learn about me and what I'm about, what I've been through, and I'll just be sharing, you know, tips and my stories, and hopefully it can help you. And that was the only goal of the Carlin brand, which is to be my own, the brand of myself, and just be myself, which is why I didn't have some sort of financial tagline or anything like that associated with my name, because it's really just me and kind of how I did things, how I process things, and hopefully it'll help somebody. Anyway, I'm off to dinner. Hope you guys have a good morning, evening, or good night.